In 2026, Lexus has so many SUV options that the question sometimes posed isn't, should I buy a Lexus? It's more, which Lexus should I buy? So for the first time ever in this video, I'm going to go through every Lexus SUV that's available in 2026 to see which one is right for you. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Lexus related content. Okay, so kicking things off with the UX 300H, or AKA the Urban Explorer. And let me tell you, this is the little car that could. It first came out replacing the CT 200H, which was a fan favorite, the hot little hatchback we had that was always great on fuel. The difference was the UX was going to be a high-rising, all-wheel drive hybrid platform, thus being our first micro SUV. The reason I'm such a big fan of the UX is I feel like, even though it's our entry-level SUV, it's the most over-engineered in this price bracket. I challenge you, if you're in the market, if you're in this segment of market, drive any competition at any price point, as long as it's the same size as this, and then drive the UX, and you will find it way more solid and smooth. In fact, my favorite story about the UX, the Urban Explorer, one of our senior sales reps, he hates when I call him that, Steven, was always driving ESs, which is like the executive sedan that is known for smooth ride and comfort. And he drove one of these to another city to deliver to a guest. And he called me from the car and he said, Dustin, appraise my trade-in, I'm buying a UX. Because that's how smooth this car was. But the UX isn't for everybody. And I'm gonna show you why. So one of the fun things about the UX is, yes, the design. It's got like the hatchback look, and it kind of looks like a car, it kind of looks like a small SUV. I love that it comes in F Sport. So you can see the F Sport badge there, and we can see some of that F Sport, that previous gen F Sport spindle grille and things like that. And there's some nice body lines too, by the way. And there's another YouTuber that does a good job of like measuring paint and body panels and stuff, and he was always really impressed with the UX. And another design feature while I'm at it that I never talk about is these fender flares. How great are those? It's kind of cool that there's fender flares on this UX. Let's look at the interior. So this one has red, which we love. I'm a big fan of red. And I'm just gonna put the seat where it should be. I'm 6'1", or at least that's what I tell people. And let me show you. I fit so nicely in here. I fit so nicely. I have tons of space. It's a great seating position. I think the dashboard is exquisite. There's nice layers, there's physical buttons. There's an ASC switch, which not a lot of people know what that is. That is active sound control. Because it's a hybrid, it's very smooth and quiet, but if you press that button, it makes it sound like a crotch rocket inside. I'm an ex-motorcycle race guy, so I really like that, even though I know it's fake sound. Really good dash. Again, when you look at details like that, that's like a hand-stitched dash. If you get the luxury package, a really cool thing is that you can have the washi dash, which is an origami texture, because if you want to be a Takumi with Lexus, you have to be able to fold an origami, is it a cat? I think it's a cat, with the wrong hand blindfolded in under 10 seconds, and that's how they like give homage to that, which I think is really cool. Also, the UX, when it first came out, they got rid of this feature, but it was so cool. It was an industry first. And I love talking about these Easter eggs, by the way. Let me know in the comments if you like Easter eggs, like little hidden secrets of cars, and if you like, or if you know any that I don't know. So these little, I guess like a vent controller, a vent knob, they used to light up. I'm gonna try right now. Yeah, they don't light up anymore. And that was wireless. So what it did was there was a battery in there and it would charge itself by the air going through it, which I thought was really cool. A little bit of over-engineering there. I'm sure they decided that that was way too expensive for no reason, and they got rid of it. Classic shift-by-wire right now. By the way, the ES300 has more power and better fuel economy than the 250 did. So we see some nice things there. It's a great car for someone who is commuting, I would say. Let me show you the back. That's kind of where things drop off. So you already saw, I have the front seat where I would drive it. And in the front, it was great. It did everything I needed it to do. In the back, it is not great. Ugh, if I really want to try to get back here, I could get back here. My knees are there. Yes, I could ask the driver in the front to move up. And by the way, I'm just noticing this. These F Sport seats in the front, they did not cheap out on. Like, there's no corners cut. That is a true F Sport seat, which in this price point, we love. I have an armrest. I have some USBs there. I can shut the door. I have a window. You know, it's tight though. This is like when you need to drive your friend home from the bar or restaurant and he's got to fit back here. But for like road trips, I would hate to be back here. Let's look at the back. Being that it is a compact micro SUV, we have decent space back here. It is a nice height to load things in and out of. That was the point. You fold down those seats, you could put a Costco run back here, no problem. Are you gonna put a drum kit? No. Are you gonna put a bicycle? No. And we have a little bit extra space here. This reminds me, I forgot about something. You could actually lower that floor a little bit to fit some more in there. But overall, for what it does, it's really good at it. So who is the UX for? Well, that's an easy one. This is for the urban explorer. Exactly how the name presents. Someone who maybe lives in a metropolitan area and needs something small for easy parking and parking garages and stuff like that, but maybe needs all-wheel drive, and why not save on some fuel while you do that? Another person it could be for is a commuter, a single person, or maybe a couple who have a small dog, not a big dog maybe, but people who don't want to sacrifice comfort, reliability, and luxury, even though they don't need the back. It's almost like an SUV coupe, I guess you could say. And I'm a big fan. If I was commuting, this would be really high on my list, especially at that price point. And at less than 6 liters per 100 kilometers, it's like what the original Prius used to get. It was pretty epic. Okay, let's talk about our high-tech new kid on the block, the Lexus RZ, or RZ, depending where you live. So this is our fully electric crossover SUV. I will say it is like the silhouette of the RZ. It's kind of like at first glance, you might think it's a big sedan like the ES. You can tell even just from the design language that this is an electric vehicle. Now, a couple things to note that I'm gonna show you is that it doesn't have a frunk, and a lot of people think it should. I'm with those people. I think it'd be really cool if it had a frunk. But to me, the driving experience of the RZ is very much worth thinking about in a fully electric car over hybrid, gas, etc., etc. Now, the RZ looks super great. I know it's not a real word. Super good in black. I think a lot of electric cars right now are doing a lot of funky colors and accents, and the black just kind of like classes it up a little bit. Obviously, the latest door handles. We go inside. This one has the black interior. I'm just gonna electrify things up because we know there's not actual fire going on inside of an electric car, but there's lightning and things like that, so that kind of counts. So you're gonna be greeted by things that make it a Lexus, right? I will say, I'm gonna give kudos to the RZ for one big thing right now. The way that they integrated the screen is better than any other SUV in the lineup. Look it's actually more part of the dash, instead of that trend in the auto industry right now of like screen sticking out. And I know a lot of viewers always mention that, so that's that. So this one's got a full charge right now, 98% charge. It's telling us we have 426 range. A lot of times with electric vehicles, I find I like plan a trip where like, let's say I'm going somewhere that's 400 kilometers away. When I start, I might think I'm gonna have 26K, but depending on the weather, the temperature, it could be different. Like it could be, I actually might have more, I might have less. So it just kind of depends. Here we have a really nice wood grain. So that's kind of cool. It's very classy in here. A new shifter. This is a shift-by-wire, of course. It's just a different design than what we're used to. Classic armrest, classic Lexus armrest. What they wanted it to do was feel like a Lexus, not an EV. And one of the things, I'm gonna talk about a couple things, but one of the cool things is when I need to just hop in a car and go somewhere. So think about like, for all of you golfers out there, think about how easy it is when you're golfing and using an electric golf cart. When you have to hop in and hop out of the cart, it's so easy. You don't have to wait for an engine to start up. You don't have to wait for any like winding up. You just hop in and you step on the pedal and it just goes like instantly. That's what electric cars are like, and that's what the RZ is like. Or if I have to run for lunch, hop on this thing and I just zip out of here. That's kind of nice. Also, it is very smooth and quiet, and because it's steer-by-wire, you don't feel the road in the steering wheel, which I know is counterintuitive to a lot of you sports cars fans. And all of those things kind of help make it a comfortable experience. So it is fun, it's zippy, but it's also so smooth that endurance-wise, I feel like I can drive for longer. We do have some space down here. Not many of our SUVs have space down here. And I do want to show you, I'm gonna show you under the hood. I was always really interested for EVs and like what they put under here. I have to find the little flap. So this is what it looks like under the hood. We have this big EV system module thing here. That's the top of the front motor converter, battery pack, all those. You can see it's not like there's any extra space. So when I was, my long dreams of hoping that there was going to be a frunk up here were quickly diminished. But it made, again, everything just seem more like a Lexus. There's actually stuff under here, including a 12-volt battery, which runs all the accessories. That should look all pretty familiar. Obviously, the design language screams EV. A couple things I'm gonna touch on to finish it off is one is it's got our first light up Lexus emblem, and two, and I know we're outside, so I don't know if we can actually hear it. It's not gonna work because it's on. But instead of the classic beep, it makes a newer noise, which is kind of nice and more luxurious. So in the back of the RZ, even though it looks pretty sloped off, because there's no drivetrain coming through here, and because of that there's no like hump in the middle, so we actually have good space. I have good space. I'm 6'1". We do have an armrest. I would say it's almost, it's in between the NX and the RX back here. It feels anyway. I don't know if I have to measure that to prove to you. It feels that way. So it's kind of like a big sedan. I have space, and it's like a hatchback. So let's check out the trunk. I don't know what you guys feel about the bat ears. That was different between the RZ and the BZ, was these little bat ears here. I'm sure they're for aero something rather, but the back end looks good, especially in black. I think it looks really sharp. They've really refined the taillight. And we have a big space, tons of space back here. One thing I don't know, and I'm gonna find out live on camera right now, is I always wanna know when cars have extra storage space. Oh, this one has huge storage space. Why do they do that? You could put a spare tire in there almost. So that's a good spot to store things like your charger. And by the way, we only recently found out that the RZ comes with a level 2 charger right there. It's not just level 1, it is a level 2. And now they use the NX, which is the North American standard, AKA the old Tesla charger. So super easy to find charging ports now. So who is it for? Who is the RZ for? I would say someone who needs or has 2 cars. So a family of 2 and more. This is like your zip around town, go-getter, do errands, go to work, EV, where you don't need this. You don't have to use this to get to the cottage. To drive from Toronto to Ottawa, you don't have to use this because you have another car. The reason I say that is, as an everyday around town car, this checks all of the boxes. But once you throw in those other things life throw at us, like emergency road trips to visit people down south, is it impossible? No, but it makes it harder because now you gotta plan your trip around that, and that's just not where the experience is. But it's every day, like where I live and work, I can charge this at work every day and never need gas, which is pretty cool. So that's who the RZ is for. Over to the NX. And this is where we start to get very versatile, and even the package structure and model structure tell you that. So if you haven't guessed it, the N stands for nimble. When the NX came out in 2015, it wasn't based on the RAV4 platform like it is today. It was based on the IS platform because it was more of an SUV that was a sports sedan, just, you know, jacked up a little bit. And at first that segment in the industry was slow. I mean, it sped up a little bit, but now it's crazy. I found, my last demo was an NX 450h Plus. I found a lot of things that I really love about it, and I'm gonna show you all of those. But before I do that, let's just talk about the model structure. So in Canada, we did just get rid of the NX 250. But if your country still has it, what the NX 250 is the gas non-turbo engine from the RAV4 in an entry-level NX. Pretty much just based on price point, and it takes regular gas, which is nice. From there, we have the 350, which is the bigger engine with the turbocharger, lots of power, and now we get so many packages because you could do premium, luxury, ultra luxury, executive, F-Sport 1, F-Sport 2, F-Sport 3. There was even an ultra premium at one point. So there really was an NX 350 for everybody, especially the F-Sport ones are really cool. I love the F-Sport ones. Then we go to the NX 350h. Slightly less packages, not as many F-Sport variants, but now you get that hybrid powertrain, which is great on gas, super smooth, and takes regular gas. With the sacrifices, now you use an eCVT, which means the shifting isn't really the same as the 350. The 350 still has like a hard gear shift, which I like. But in return, you get the smoothest powertrain because a lot of the times the electric motor is starting you out and you don't really have, you know, the gas engine always having to wind up. But wait, there's more. From there, we could go up to the 450h Plus, which is this one beside us, and that is the plug-in hybrid. Now, when it comes to plug-in hybrids, think the benefits of a EV, like the RZ and the ES and the new TZ coming out, but no range anxiety. Meaning, when I drove the NX 450h Plus every day, the range was like 70 to 80K on a full charge, but my commute to work is only like 20 to 30K. So I go to and from work without using any gas and just plug in at work or at home. I even just saw a friend of mine today who has one of these, and he picked up the car 3 months ago. He hasn't used any gas. Or he hasn't used the gas tank, I guess I could just say. So that gives that. And it gives you a little bit extra power, because when you're in full EV mode, you don't have to wait for any gas engine to kick on to give you extra power. It just goes. So a little bit of best of both worlds going with a 450h Plus. But let me show you more. So you can see from the silhouette that it is much bigger than the little UX over there. And this is why it's so popular with so many different demographics, life situations, chapters of lives, anything you want to say, is because it fits for so many people. And this package is, I actually thought this was an F-Sport, but I don't see F-Sport badge. So I think this is a fully loaded executive. We'll have to get inside to take a look. Really sleek styling. It looks great in the atomic silver. You can still get it in atomic silver, which is one of the last models for us. It came out in 22. It was the first to give us the E-latch, which I'm just such a big fan of. This is the executive for sure. You can see the seat is a little different. I'm just moving it. So the seat is a little different. We got some textures there. We also have some wood grain here and that Mark Levinson sound system. Cabin space-wise, it's not that much different than the UX, with the exception of there's a little bit more, space up there, I guess. We have that sort of detached big screen. That was one of the first when this NX came out. We have heads-up display on this one too. And I noticed, like, when my fiance has one of these, when we're in it, we don't feel like we're on top of each other, but we do feel close for sure. There's not a ton of space here, but cup holders, phone charger, that's all you need. It's the necessities. That armrest that opens both ways. Lexus does a great job of that, shift by wire. So when Lexus first came out of this car, like the advanced touch or intelligent touch, I always mess that up. The steering wheel buttons where you can program them, and when you put your thumbs on them, it shows up on the screen. Things like the new Lexus multimedia system all came out of this generation. Some other luxuries like a button that can park the car itself, which who doesn't love that? It's a little bit of a novelty thing, but when you try it out, it's pretty cool. And again, a great seating position for someone my size. I'll leave this where I would set it, because I'm gonna show you the back. So I would put it right here. I'll show you the back, and you'll see it is much more usable. Look at that space difference, right? And if I just go over back to this UX, you can see there's a big difference. Going up to the NX is more of that lifestyle, right? If you have kids, you can make an NX work. If you have a golden retriever and a golden doodle like I do, I put them back here all the time. It's great. Is the back seat still a little packed and cozy? Yes. But is it usable? Absolutely, it's usable. And it doesn't stop there. Going to the trunk, very big space, tons of space. So again, good height to load stuff in, no spare tires, so we have a deep cavity underneath as well. And you could put, like my fiance is a realtor, she has signs, she has sledgehammers, she has all this stuff in there all the time, and it fits it all. So it really fits for so many different chapters in life. So that kind of makes it hard to determine who the NX is for, because I've seen this fit so many different lifestyles. I've seen it fit the young professional who likes to go on road trips and needs a commuter car. I've seen it fit the retiree who just wants something that's up a little bit higher and has a bit of substance to it so that they don't feel like they're in a small car when they go to get groceries every Sunday. I've seen it fit young families. I've seen it fit couples with 2 golden retrievers and golden doodles. So depending how you spec it, the NX is kind of like that Goldilocks car where it's nimble, it's fun to drive, you can get it in so many different powertrains, so many different budgets, by the way. Like the swing is like 20 grand from top to bottom, and that's why it's slowly becoming our bestseller. Over to the RX, also known as the car that put Lexus on the map in the luxury SUV space as far back as the 90s. So the R stands for radiant when it comes to the RX. Like the NX, but maybe less variances, fits a lot of different demographics because of the way they spec it out. So the RX now has a 2.4 liter turbo, just like the NX, the RX 500h, which is my favorite thing we offer in this car, and that is a 2.4 liter with the turbo and the hybrid. That's at the top end, and then right in the middle we have the 350h, which is the 2.5 liter hybrid. It did used to have a V6. If you look at anything previous to 2023, it did have a V6, and people loved that V6. It was heavy, had good punch, had a good sound, took regular gas. And then in 23, when they redesigned it, which by the way, the styling just got catapulted light years into the future, especially on the inside. But the complaint that anybody shopping at the time had was they read in a magazine or online that it now had a 4-cylinder. And when all of the dealers kind of were like, oh my God, Lexus, what's happening? Lexus just said very calmly, wait till you drive it. And I did. And I'm a V6 guy. I loved that V6. So I trusted Lexus, as I always do, and I drove the new RX. And I found with that lower mounted engine, the turbocharged engine, that's lighter, lower mounted, more chassis refinements, all the things that Lexus did, that Lexus does best, I was like, oh, thank goodness. It's good. It's better than the V6. And I actually started to love the new 4-cylinder because when you wind it up, it's got like that engine sound of a turbocharged engine winding up. And I thought, okay, I don't need a V6 anymore. I got this. And with the 500 and that extra power and that true 6-speed transmission in the 500, it makes it a beast. So we can't talk about the RX without mentioning the nose, which in 2023, that was appalling to a lot of people. I get it. I too was like, you know, am I actually gonna like this? Especially because the NX doesn't have it. But now it's really grown on me. And I would say in terms of exterior styling, the thing I like most is that side silhouette and also the rear. It's really got this nice swooping motion towards the back. Even on that previous model that came out in 2020, that refresh, that had a really good side profile as well. And now with the wheel options, I find now we don't sell as many F Sports as we used to, because even the luxury looks so darn good. It just looks good, it's classy. Interior-wise, as I mentioned, when this came out, this was a big deal because it was such a big upgrade from that previous model, from the previous model RX. This car is the reason I wanted to do this little handy cam here, because sitting in the RX versus the NX, you have so much more dash in front of you, and it really does create this really nice big space. With the ambient lighting, which you can see is on right now, you can see that extra panel there. So now we also are adding different dimensions to what the driver sees as they're driving. It's calming, it's spacious. We have some wood grain around. We have this bigger center console. I always say that wrong. We have the RX signature cup holder that goes up and down. That's only in the RX. It's just a bigger, more comfortable space. And the driving dynamics with this bigger wheelbase also reflect that. So it's smoother, it's more planted, it's more luxurious. The screen looks very similar to that NX that you just saw me review. It works the same with the gauge cluster. All of that pretty much is the same now across these two models. We get a bit of wood grain on the steering wheel, especially in this package, in the luxury package. So more space up here, smoother, more comfortable driving. Let me show you the back. This would be what swings me to an RX over an NX, and that is this luxury seat. Like, this is almost one of those cars that you could buy and sit. Like, if you're the owner and you sit in the back of this, that's totally fine. Where if you did that in the NX, you would feel like you're not getting the full experience. Even look at the armrest. The armrest, we have cup holders back here in someone's garbage. And we have this little cubby. The NX doesn't have that. The NX also doesn't have, you know, in a mid package like this, heated and cooled seats back here, a big armrest, a big door handle and door panel. It's just luxury back here. Again, I'm 6'1", I got lots of space. I got that panel roof above me. It's great. Life is good in the RX. Here, not as big a difference. So we do have a wider footprint, right? So we of course have a wider trunk space with like an actual retractable tonneau cover. In terms of depth, it's the same with the exception of we have a spare tire. So if you are someone that wants a spare tire, RX over NX probably. Good size, good height to put things in and out of. And like, look at that silhouette. Another little Easter egg, the wiper is hidden in that top section of the RX. That's also one of the only models that does that. So when it swoops down, it's actually, you know, hidden most of the time. And I always thought that was pretty cool. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dustin's gonna say the RX is for the same people as the NX. Kinda. I think the RX does cross over a lot of the same buyers as the NX. The stats will tell you that. However, the RX is more for people who want that executive level ride. So who would pay extra or maybe go down a package and up a car to have that bigger wheelbase, that wider interior. People who notice that dashboard thing that I told you, like how there's actually like more space inside. People who perhaps do need to drive people in the back every day. So maybe a family of 4, this is their family hauler. Where the NX might not necessarily be that if they're driving their kids around every day and stroller and dog. This is starting to get into that size of versatility. And that's why the RX has always been our bestseller. It is luxury. There's no doubt about it. So the TX is one that I'm feeling very familiar with right now because it's actually my demo at the moment. So I'm getting more familiar with the things that I like the most about the TX. We'll start with this. The T stands for thoughtful, and that's a surprising one for a lot of people because what Lexus wanted to do was create an SUV that every seat feels like a first-class airline seat, whether you're in the front, the middle, or the third row. And for Canadians and Americans, I'm sure, this was a big deal because we wanted a SUV that you could have 6 people and their carry-on bags and go to the airport. And that's a little aviation theme, which if you're a super fan, you know is deep in my heart. So lately we took one of these to our local airport, which is called the Grand River Executive Airport, for an air show to show people the TX and what it was capable of, and everybody loved it. To really understand and appreciate the TX, let's take a closer look with my other camera. Okay, so like the same theme on all the other SUVs, we have the electronic door latch. Inside, so this one is not a fully loaded. It's like middle of the road, but we still have things like thigh support, which is amazing because again, comfort is everything to the TX especially. And what I noticed the most is how big the interior feels. So coming from my last demo, which was an NX 450h Plus, this cabin just feels so much more spacious. In fact, even my fiance went for a ride with me yesterday for the first time, and we felt so far apart compared to the NX. Now, it's kind of funny because even if you didn't need all the extra space in the back, having a cabin with extra space up front is kind of a luxury in its own. This one obviously has the big screen. Unique to the TX is these cup holders, which actually remove. That's a Lexus only in the TX. And what that gives you is this different storage capacity. Now, if you look at size-wise, my iPhone 15 Pro Max versus that, it's much bigger, and you know, it has a charging pad anyway, so you wouldn't really use it for that, but it creates a little bit bigger space, I would say. And then what you do is you can actually just put them back in like so. So that could be easier for cleaning. You could still put your phone across if you want. Another unique feature is this armrest, because what Lexus wanted to do with the armrest was if I had a passenger with me, let's say my co-pilot that day is sound asleep resting on this armrest, but maybe I needed something like a snack out of it. You can just fold down the butterfly rest, get inside there without ever disturbing the person on that side, which is super nice. Now, in terms of drive, the TX, being that it's a longer wheelbase, has a smoother, more comfortable ride as you would expect. Surprisingly, also, for 2026, I feel like Lexus refined it without telling us. Because I remember when it came out in 24, and that engine just seemed a little buzzy. It seemed, you know, nicely mounted, like low, but you could definitely feel it was a 4-cylinder. Now they seem to really tune that up and refine it, because I don't feel like it's lacking any power whatsoever. And if I did, I would just go up to the TX 500. So going into the back, you can see my protein powder that I picked up earlier. That'll be a blooper. Very much on brand, so we can fold the seats flat by pressing those 2 levers there. So you do the first one, and then you do the second one, and then this whole backrest goes flat. If you wanted to quick access into the back, you could just press that button and fold to the back. I did have my dogs back here earlier, and what I noticed with them is, again, compared to the NX, this second row is bigger than it needs to be, that's for sure, in a good way. So having, like, for instance, my dog, Lucy, she likes to sit with her back against the back, which is hilarious, and have her head out the window. And it's actually bigger than she's used to, so it was kind of like funny to see her adjust to it. We do have some hater blockers here. You can lower and raise this sunshade, which is great for kids. The materials stay pretty good back here. In the front, you have some Alcantara. You can see that kind of actually on the seat here as well. This is all the Ultra Suede, but on the door panel itself here, you don't have that. We do have some heated seats. We do have some controls here for climate for the back seats. We got USB-Cs, which, by the way, pack a pretty big punch, so you can charge that iPad up, no problem. On the 7-passenger, you get this armrest to cover that center seat, but on the 6-passenger, there's like a removable center bit that you can put iPads and cup holders and stuff in, so that's always cool. I want to show you the trunk, so we're gonna go to the trunk. Now again, keeping on theme that I've been using this car, so there's a dog blanket in the back. because, you know, I need to protect it for the next person. But look how big this storage is. So you can see, and I'll pull one of these up anyway. And by the way, I just do that by this switch right here. So with them down, it's obvious there's huge space back here. It's like a pickup truck. But with that third row up, and this is a good measuring stick having the floor mats back there. So with that up, like so, you can see even the width of this mat is how much space we have left. So you could still definitely fit 6 carry-on luggage on top of each other. And just to give you a quick sneak peek, there's still amenities in that back seat. Still has removable cup holders, which is great. I think, if I go back to my older videos, I think it didn't have the removable, it just had normal ones. You have a switch for your power reclining seat, USB-Cs, all that stuff. So with TX, it goes on theme that it doesn't matter what seat you're in, it's a first class seat. Even myself, not needing a third row SUV, it's been nice having the extra space, that extra comfort, especially lifestyle-wise. It's summertime here in Canada right now, so any road trips and or cottage trips with the boys or family, it's gonna be nice to take the TX because it's just a little bit more of that lifestyle SUV, you know? So who's the TX for is the question. I would say mostly families looking to be able to bring their kids and or parents and or relatives on road trips where you still need some cargo space. So that would be number one. Number two is anybody that wants it for lifestyle, like the longer wheelbase and the extra space inside is more usable than just for family stuff. I mean, if I was really into mountain biking, maybe I would do the TX just so I could like fit more mountain bike here. But primarily, it's a family SUV for the family that doesn't want a minivan. Now we're getting to the fun SUV. So this is the GX 550. And you'll notice very quickly, the design language of this is unlike any of the other SUVs that we've looked at so far. This is a true body-on-frame SUV that's just designed for fun. It's an off-road luxury vehicle with the latest design being very retro, and I really like that. You'll notice it's very squared off, and it comes a few different really cool ways. This one's a luxury beside us, but it also comes in what's called the Overtrail. And maybe I can get the editor to insert picture of Overtrail GX right here. The cool thing about this, we have a V6, twin turbo, 3.4 liter, good torque, good fuel economy, good power, good weight, and very versatile. I overuse versatile a lot. This one, I mean it, it's very versatile. I personally would love the Overtrail. It's got these big off-road tires, it's got that still very smooth luxury ride, and you can go anywhere. In fact, I'm very sad to say, last year I missed out on a contest that Lexus was having called Groundbreakers. And it was on some sales metrics, and they sent some sales managers to the Rocky Mountains to drive GXs up a cleared path of the mountain to a cabin on the side of a cliff. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I did one time get to drive a GX on a closed course, off-road course, and get it up on 3 wheels and be able to use some of the off-road gear that it has to articulate the axle and climb over things. And I thought that was really cool. I think at some point in my life, I will be a full-time bro GX guy. Okay, so you can see on this one, we have running boards, we have a luxury wheel setup, we have that really cool roof rack that I love. This one is in caviar. And again, it looks different than a lot of things on the road. Mind you, a little G-Wagon-like. This one's got that nice brown interior, and you kind of step up into it. Now, the fully loaded ones have a power running board, and I find that one more usable. This one being the luxury, it's just fixed. Inside, you can see the whole point of it is to have some heft to it. Like the shifter is the old ES shifter that you actually put it in gear. We have a high and low switch here for the 4-wheel drive. We have a locking center differential. And again, don't forget, this one isn't even the crazy off-road one. This is just the normal one. Different drive modes for different folks, things like mud and snow, gravel, sand, etc. So the car can do some smart things. One of the only cars that has this little trapdoor, and that's an actual cigarette lighter, by the way. We have this tuck away cup holder thing. And I love when you can just cover up cup holders and areas that you don't need. Center armrest, again, big heft here. Really favorite thing, this is gonna sound so counterintuitive versus the last car that I just talked about, and that is the dash is small. I kind of like that the dash is small. It's again, like that off-road G-Wagon. And also, by the way, everybody, if you are the type that likes to see your hood, which I know not everybody is, most cars aren't. I'm gonna shut this. You can see the hood here. So when you're driving, you can actually see the full length of the hood and the hood, angles. And because of that, this car actually got some criticism online because when you're on the highway, since you can see the hood, you can see it flexing because wind is going underneath it and it's on top of it, and it's an aluminum hood, so it's moving around a little bit. People don't realize every SUV has that happen. It's just you can't usually see the hood. So it doesn't mean it's cheap, and it shouldn't drive you crazy. I have one sales guy, he was gonna buy one of these and then he didn't because of the hood was flexing, and I was like, that's such a silly reason not to buy it. Cool little cubby up there. And again, just a really good off-road seating position. I think, even though I don't need it, I think I will have a GX at some point. I think I really wanna lean into like the lifestyle aspect of it. I'd put a roof rack on it, I'd get the overtrail. It would be my cabin cruiser, I would call it. Let me show you the back. Normal door handles. Getting in the back, does it look small? Yeah, it looks small. It's not really though. There is a way to move the seat back so you can recline it a little bit. It's a more upright seating position. As you can see, I got a big window beside me. I'm very much upright. We have some amenities. I got heated seats back here. We got some climate control stuff. It's a utility. This is like a true SUV, by the way. Body on frame, utility. We still have things like hater blockers where we can up those, and that's pretty great. Going into the back, and by the way, let's just look at that back right now. Super cool. Again, very retro-esque. It's very squared off. The only Easter egg really worth pointing out is this button. You press that and it opens up. Now, if you remember the old GXs, it had that because of the door actually opened sideways, which some people liked, some people didn't. I thought it was cool. All it needs is a little ladder back here, a little ladder. So when the third row is down, and yes, this one has a third row, we have decent utility back here. And not every package has 3 rows, but this one does. You have decent space, it's very much usable, but when those back seats are up, this is the size of the trunk, is this little mat right here. So it's like a hand width. It's like 6 inches. We have the folding seat buttons. We have a wall outlet, so that's the converter back there. Really good for power tools, maybe pumping up a paddleboard or two, or a cooler, because this is that lifestyle SUV. It's all about the fun. All right, so Dusty, who is the GX for? Well, before I answer that, I want to kind of rewind and talk about the previous generation's GXs. And let's give homage to the community that supported those trucks. I mean, they came out originally as just a body-on-frame luxury SUV. And then this community came up because they realized that they're very reliable. The wheelbase is the perfect size for off-roading. You could beat the crap out of them and them never die. And then this whole overlanding community came up where people put tents on the roof and drive through the bush and then just pull over and live in their GX. So then Lexus said, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's make one that can do that. So then now when this got re-released, it was already the off-road, full-time bro SUV in the lineup. So who's it for? I mean, the way that this one is spec'd out, it could be for a family who likes fun activities, maybe has a cottage in the Muskokas and does a little bit of off-roading and just likes the look of this squared body. And also, by the way, the powertrain alone would attract me to this vehicle, especially over the Land Cruiser. I have a video on that. And then there's like the actual purist where this car is for, especially in the Overtrail, where it's like someone who is off-roading and is camping and adventuring. So you have those two demographics come together, and either one is good. You can get this decked out and executive with power running boards, or you can get it lifted with big tires right from the factory. Either way, I'm so glad it exists, and it is the curveball that our lineup has, an off-road SUV. It's pretty sick. So for the LX, I'm just too tired because that is the most cars that I've talked about in one video. You could probably fact check me on that, but there's one left. And if I made this video in 6 months from now, there'd be another one. But let's talk about the one we have now, and that's the LX 600. So the LX 600 is our flagship SUV at the moment. And similar to the GX, it is body on frame. It's the same 3.4 liter V6 twin turbo. All I can say, it sounds on paper like it would be just a slightly more expensive GX. But a good guest of mine, let's call him Joseph, has proved me wrong on this because the LX is the true luxury SUV. So not only is it body on frame, but it is over-engineered and overbuilt to every minor detail, meaning the doors are heavier. The center console is huge and has more buttons and features and actually runs 2 screens, which is rare for Lexus to have like 2 screens like that. It is off-road capable, by the way. It's super off-road capable, actually. Depending how you spec it, there's an F Sport, there's a luxury, there's an executive, and now there's like a 600. It is that SUV that you could pull up to a restaurant in and it looks exquisite. It's like a sport coat where you can wear it anywhere. You can wear it to a baseball game, maybe. You can wear it to a restaurant for sure. It's super solid, it's super well built, and it's super comfortable and smooth to drive. And it's got luxury features like massaging seats, of course. It's got soft closing doors, which is rare in the Lexus world. It's got 3 rows of seats that are all very comfortable and again, overbuilt. It's one of those SUVs that the owner can sit in the back seat and it'd be totally acceptable. And in fact, in other countries and other markets, the LX is reserved for the most elite of society. In Canada, they're just super rare. So when you see them, and same with the States, it is pretty cool because it's like the LS of our luxury sedans in an SUV form. So usually it means someone that knows what's up. They're pretty rare here for 2 reasons. One is dealers are not allowed to sell them to just anybody. Because of high exportation and high resale values, Lexus dealers try to keep it reserved for Toyota and Lexus guests that are like super loyal, and it's kind of like the Rolex watch where, you kind of got to get like a buyer's profile before you can get one. And to me, that's cool. I like that a luxury brand has that because it makes it more special. And when you see one used, they hold up so well and they're so rare that usually they're worth more than new ones. The LX is the flagship that not only can I not film because I'm tired of filming right now, also I don't have one here because that's how rare they are. All right, so there you have it, a brief yet not so brief overview of every Lexus SUV for 2026 in the lineup and who they are for. Let me know in the comments below which one fits you best and if I missed any Easter eggs that I should have.